I almost cried.
I did tear up a little bit.
I didn't because I'm a man, but it almost made me want to identify as a chick so I could shed a few tears.
You
That was
realize men cry, right?
betas. Um,
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
okay, welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. And we are still on our way to Christmas. And today we are previewing a 1947 classic that I have never seen called A Miracle on 34th Street. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of it. Again, I haven't seen it. Anna has seen it. What
Mhm.
do you remember about Miracle on 34th Street?
Miracle on 34th Street was a very, very sweet movie. I remember there being some laughs, not a lot, but some. And it really is like super feel good. And there's an adorable kid. This is
Oh,
what I
she
remember.
became really
It's been,
famous.
was it played by who? Oh, god
Give
damn
me
it.
one second. Oh, crap. I had it here.
I
Before.
believe you.
There we go. Well, it stars John Payne and Maureen
Mm,
O'Hara, who I had a giant crush on. Now, I've never seen this movie, but I've seen The
mhm.
Parent Trap, and she played the mom.
Yes.
And I remember being a kid and going, wow, she's hot. I was also had a
As
crush
you
on
do.
Haley Mills, who was in The Parent Trap.
Uh,
So it was kind of a conflicting. Um, yeah, we won't get into that podcast.
yeah, that's a very different podcast. But yeah, no, I remember it being a very sweet movie and very kind of, it makes you feel good about life and it makes you believe, which I think is like super important this holiday season.
Yeah, and the little girl you were talking about, it's actually Natalie Wood, who was in Rebel Without a Cause, West Side Story.
Right.
Like, she was the main female lead in those movies, and she, I
I
guess,
love
died
her.
very early at 43. Yes, she's been in quite a few movies, but yeah, she died at
Yeah.
43, but she made, like, 70 some odd movies. So, yeah,
She
it's
was
Natalie Wood,
incredible.
this
Her in Splendor in the Grass.
Splendor in the Glass,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Fucking incredible. Rebel Without a Cause, fucking incredible. She
Yeah,
was
what she was the
such a
main
talent,
lead the
such,
lead in,
such a talent.
West Side Story, Love with the Proper
Yep.
Stranger.
Yep.
She's in tons and tons, but I think this was I'm just gonna double check it. Oh, this was not her first movie. She did quite a few
Not
movies as a
surprising.
kid, obviously, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, very steady, and then she got into bigger and bigger movies
And we
and then
reviewed a
died.
movie with her daughter in it,
Oh,
Urban
yeah,
Legend.
Urban Legend,
Yep.
yeah.
Natasha Gregson Wagner was in there. Yeah, and then there are theories about how she died, but once again, that is not this podcast. That's a different kind of podcast.
Alright, so you remember liking it. Now the box there was not a lot of
Mhm.
information about this movie. It was released on May 2nd, 1947, which is a head scratcher. I don't get it.
Interesting.
It it had a budget of 680,000, which I'm guessing in 1947 was pretty decent.
That's actually a pretty big budget. Yeah.
And Miracle on 34th Street won 3 Academy Awards, Gwen for Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Valentine Davies for Best Writing, Original Story, and George Seaton for Best Writing, Screenplay. The film was nominated for Best Picture, but it lost to Gentleman's Agreement, which I've never heard of. There you go.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. But this film has become a perennial Christmas favorite. Like, even though I've not
Mhm.
seen it, it just nothing appealed to me, and my parents weren't into it, so it never really made the but I've seen the commercials a billion times this Sunday or Tuesday or Wednesday or
Yeah,
Christmas Eve. Yeah, it was all over the place.
I
So
used to
let's
watch it all the
go.
time when I was younger.
I think I would catch it, and when I was a kid, it was like, ugh, black and white. I'm not poor.
Understandable. Oh, Lord.
Uh, all right, let's go to tell the tape. Now, Miracle on 34th Street is a 1947 holiday comedy, rated G, and it comes in at a 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Oh,
Taglines. You've got them mixed up. You're making a mistake. You're making a mistake with the reindeer. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I'm guessing this is a
that is
quote from
not
the
a
movie.
tagline.
No, I think it's a
I think
quote from
it's
the movie.
yeah, I feel like that's a quote.
The man behind the miracle is bringing you laughter, tenderness, joy, such as your heart has never known before.
It's very wordy, but accurate.
A miracle of entertainment.
Good tagline.
Capture the spirit of Christmas with this timeless classic. This was obviously
That's a
something a little later.
DVD. That's
Yeah.
a DVD or VHS tagline.
All right. Synopsis. In this Christmas classic, an old man going by the name of Kris Kringle, Edmund Gwenn, fills in for an intoxicated Santa in Macy's annual Thanksgiving Day parade. Kringle proves to be such a hit that he is soon appearing regularly at the chain's main store in Midtown Manhattan. When Kringle surprises customers, employees alike, by claiming that he really is Santa Claus, it leads to a court case to determine his mental health and, more importantly, his authenticity.
Mhm.
This would be great if Raymond Burr was in it as a lawyer. Did he do two lawyer shows?
Oh god. Yeah, I
Like
think with the
Ironclad
same wait,
and
was it the same character?
I don't know. What was the big one that he
It
did
was
where he was
he was
older?
Perry Mason, wasn't he? Perry
That's yeah,
Mason,
Perry
no?
Mason. I used to watch that show like
Yeah.
on late nights on Nick at Night or something.
I loved Perry Mason, but
Yeah,
I
so did
also
I.
have a never-ending love for Matlock, so right there.
Yep, that's the old people's favorite.
Old white guy lawyers all over it.
Y Yeah, and here is the poster. Dun, da, da, da. It's very 40s, 50s.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's
Love it.
not horrible, but actually, it's quite quaint.
It is.
For those listening, it's not even a pic, it's drawings of the two main characters, John Payne, Maureen O'Hara, and then the Santa Claus and the little girl painted in the background. Miracle on 34th Street. There's not even a tagline on it, but like this is 1947. Like marketing has not really.
Well, because for marketing, you didn't especially in the 40s, a lot of people consider that the golden era of cinema because literally the movies, because this is right after World War II ended. There's a lot of despair, there's a lot of social upheaval, and this was when Hollywood went balls to the wall. They were like, "We are gonna give you spectaculars, we are gonna give you heart, we're gonna give you feeling." People were going to the movies on the regular, they didn't care what was playing.
Yeah,
They
they
would
just
show up and
wanted.
buy tickets
Yeah.
to whatever. So, they just needed to be like, "This is one of the movies you can see."
All right, let's go to Rotten Tomatoes. 52 critic reviews has this movie at 96%.
Damn,
That's really high.
super
Uh,
high.
25,000 audience members has it 87%. So there's a couple Scrooges in there, a couple people with
Oh,
coal up
yeah,
their ass. Critic consensus, irrefutable proof that gentle, for fuck's sake,
sentimentalism,
thank you, can be the chief ingredient in a wonderful film. Miracle on 34th Street delivers a warm holiday message without resorting to
treacle,
theatrical.
treacle.
Oh, that's an
It's a
R.
type of candy.
I'm gonna get fucking glasses. I swear to Christ. Like Tico. The fuck is Tico? Treacle makes Treacle makes a little more sense. All right, if you want to start with the positive,
I will start. Miracle on 34th Street is the gift that keeps on giving. Sarah Michelle Fetters, moviefreak.com, original score 4 out of 4.
You want the spirit of Christmas? It's all right here. Christopher Null, filmcritic.com, original score 4.4 out of 5.
So you don't believe in Santa Claus? If you want to stay a non believer, don't see Miracle. Variety staff. Variety.
It is light, it is charming, it is delightfully funny and completely captivating. It is all that and something more. Kate Cameron, New York Daily News, 4 out of 4.
The only Christmas movie. Ken Hankey. Mountain Express. I
Ken
love
Hankey.
Ken.
All right, I'll start with the rotten. I kept wondering, what would baby Jeebus think about this movie? A kitty pick that indicts America for losing sight of the one person that Christmas was always supposed to be about, and that's Santa. Nick Davis, Nick's Flicks Picks, original score C minus.
Nick's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, or very, very religious.
On that too, which
But
sometimes
even
can argue.
I know a lot of religious people, and they love movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know super religious people, and like when I was a kid and everything, and they loved movies too. But some people are,
Some people are just dicks.
and that was it. That's all. That was the only.
That
that
was
was
the
the
only
only. That was the only one.
love it.
So IMDb has 52,000 user ratings at 7.9 out of 10. That's
Mm,
high, a little less than Rotten
yeah.
Tomatoes. All right, you may start.
Awesome, thank you. It just ain't Christmas without seeing this movie. 10 out of 10, Plankton rules.
Plankton Rules. We've seen a couple of his.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. 10 out of 10. Oh, wait a minute. That's from another movie. There we go. The classic is a classic for a reason. 9 out of 10. Christmas reviewer. Some tells me this reviewer is biased.
A little bit, a little bit. Clever and fun and mostly fast-paced and heartwarming. 8 out of 10, second take.
Santa Claus spins a web of corruption and legal trickery. 7 out of 10. JP Taylor.
Damn, JP. Kringle has been declared a menace to society. 6 out of 10, shooting shark.
My favorite Christmas movie. 5 out of 10. I don't think this dude likes Christmas. Prince Banzel, 1982. If his favorite movie's 5 out of
Damn.
10.
Lighthearted and sacrilegious. 4 out of 10, Thin Beach.
Preach it,
What?
sister. Am I the only one who didn't like this movie? 3 out of 10. Shaka. What the? I don't know.
Shakatif?
What the wolf?
Shaka. That guy.
Yeah,
That
that
guy.
guy. The one guy that didn't like this movie. There were no 2 out of 10s, and there were no 1 out of 10s. And
Okay.
to tell you the truth, there was only 1 3 out of 10, that one, and 2 4 out of 10s for this
Well,
movie. So that sets the bar really high. I'm excited. Like when you said this is fun and fun, I'm having like relapses of last holiday.
well, I will say this, and this is very true. It's not as saccharine sweet as Last Holiday. It's sweet, like, don't get me wrong. You're gonna
Yeah.
feel the warm fuzzies in your tummy when you watch this movie, but it's not so saccharine. Like, you're not gonna overdose on it. At least
All
that's what I
right.
it's been a long time since I've watched it in full. I've seen, like,
Mm,
little clips here and there in the last probably 15, 20 years, but my standard old-timey, Christmas movies are Holiday Inn and White Christmas.
I love White Christmas. I just saw that a
I
few years ago for the first time,
Oh my
and I
god,
I
it
thought it
is
was great.
so good.
Yeah.
And Holiday Inn is actually the movie that kind of inspired White Christmas. White Christmas is kind of a remake. It's a reimagining of Holiday
Right.
Inn. So, I mean, those are and then my Home Alones are my standard, like, Christmas movies that I watch
Yeah.
every year.
Yeah, the kids love Home Alone, so we always
Uh,
watch Home Alone.
so fucking good. But
Yeah.
yeah, this movie, like, I watched it constantly when I was younger, like, every year. And it was one of those movies that just makes you feel warm and fuzzy, and it makes you feel like you wanna be nice to human peoples.
Now, I was getting confused or frustrated or both looking for the trailer for this movie, and then it hit me that because I could only find this one thing, 2 things. In 1947, they weren't making fucking trailers like they do today. There was no
Yeah.
voiceover dude. There was no. So I got the what they actually showed in theaters to people
Mhm.
because there's not a lot of talking. There's some talking in the middle. So I am going to talk over it just so the people listening, because it's basically,
Musical images, isn't it? Or
yeah,
images set to music, yeah.
yeah. We got our 20th Century Fox. You'll love Miracle on 34th Street. It's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Some dudes are walking around. Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, random people walking down the street. Miracle on 34th Street.
You may have to turn down the volume on this.
There we go. Some movie executives are laughing, all white.
Yes, and having a cigarette.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
he's crying,
now they're
tearing up.
crying.
The end. They're watching the movie and they're look pretty pleased with themselves.
That is the greatest picture I have ever made. And I've got the angle on the trailer. Boys, we've got to get across to the public that that picture has everything. Why, it's hilarious. It's romantic. It's tender. It's charming. It's delightful. It's exciting. And it's groovy.
Yes, Mr. Schaefer.
That does it, boys.
Mr. Schaefer, you've got a great idea.
A lot of fucking yes
Now, I'll
men.
tell you what we do.
Yeah.
You'll love Miracle on 34th Street. This is all this wording, people. It's hilarious, romantic, delightful. And like he said, oh wait, charming, tender, exciting, and like he said, yes, and groovy. No kidding. It's a good picture. If I ever make a movie, that's exactly the trailer I would put out. Oh my
You know
god,
what
that was
that
awesome.
trailer is? They're still editing it. That's what that trailer is.
Yeah, and they're
When they
trying to get
have
the
to
word
start
out,
putting
and
the trailers. Yeah, and they're like, "No, it's gonna be ready for wide release, but we need to finish editing it." And I
and
love it.
you are gonna love it. Surprised they didn't have cigars and a
I'm
bottle, thing of scotch in their hand. That would have been perfect.
it
Oh,
would
okay.
be
Now I do
perfect.
have this one, and it's just a trailer for the release of the all new in color, but it gives us
Mhm.
a better idea of how the movie is.
The all-new colorized version of Miracle on 34th Street.
I'm Santa Claus. Oh, you don't believe then?
Like you've never seen it before.
Amazing.
The all-time family classic celebrates its 60th anniversary with an all-new special edition of Miracle on 34th Street.
It's wonderful.
In full color, including the original black and white classic, digitally remastered with all new features.
I intend to prove that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
I've got a feeling he is Santa Claus, Mother.
Miracle on 34th Street. Own it this holiday season.
Oh, yes.
Hello, Maureen O'Hara.
She was such a hottie.
Yeah, yeah, she was. Makes me want to go watch Parent Trap again. All right. What are your predictions? Okay, I'll do mine first. Never seen
Yeah.
it. I really have a soft spot for black and white now, not when I was a kid. I do love older movies like 50s and 60s. Haven't seen a ton of 40s movies. I know the story. I know it looks good. I really think all these people can't be wrong. I'm hoping, and I think I'm really going to like it.
Awesome. I think you're really gonna like it too. I am a big fan of movies from the 40s and the 30s and even the 20s. I really, really love basically watching the evolution of Hollywood and film and how they did it. And this is such a great, like, I remember loving this movie so much because it made you feel like the world didn't suck so much. And you really need that feeling at Christmas, especially if you're trying in the 80s and 90s to go Christmas shopping at the mall. Now we don't have to deal with that as much, but, yeah, I think I'm really gonna love it, and I'm gonna kick myself for not watching it for the last, like, decade.
You are. If I like it, I'm gonna be like,
You're gonna be like, "I
yeah.
missed out on a lifetime of this."
And the only like 30s and that I can name off, I like Three Stooges. The 40s is all Abbott and Costello, like
See,
Buck
I
Pirates and Meet Frankenstein.
I did a lot of, like, Easter Parade, Ziegfeld Follies, I watched a lot of Buster Keaton films, so, like,
Mm.
I and Charlie Chaplin, because in film school, Andrew
Yeah, Charlie
Ainsworth,
Chaplin, yeah.
like, happened to make a comment about, like, silent films, and I was like, "Oh, let me go watch some. Sure, why not?" I also
Yeah.
used to have TCM, Turner Classic Movies, and I used to watch whatever came on.
That's true. When I had full cable, I used to love just if I was just wanting to relax, put on Turner Classic
Oh,
Movies, and it
yeah.
was awesome.
Whatever was on there, I was fully into it, and there were a couple movies that I ended up watching that I was like, "Well, shit, how have I never heard of this film?" Like, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Women, and it was originally released in 1939.
Mm.
Such an incredible cast, such an incredible movie, like, so fucking good. Then they did a remake of it in the 2000s, and they fucked it all up. So I'm like, "Don't even bother watching the 2000s one, watch the 1939 one." But, I mean, I found it by accident on TCM, and I was like, "Well, fuck, where the fuck have you been my entire life?"
No,
It
TCM
started
was awesome.
so good, so good. So now, I'm kinda sad I don't have it anymore, but I might get it again just for shits and giggles.
All right. Well, we are going to go watch A Miracle on 34th Street, and when we come back, we are going to review it. Yay.
It's intermission time, folks. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right over to our refreshment center for the most extravagant array of refreshment goodies ever assembled under one roof. Enjoy breathtaking, mouth-watering goodies. Everything from a snack to a delicious full meal. At our refreshment center, you'll find a large variety of goodies to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, or your sweet tooth. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Visit our refreshment center now. And now, on with the show.
All right. Welcome back to that Remember Like That Movie podcast. So, have you watched the 1947 Christmas movie Miracle on 4th Street? 34th Street,
I
sorry.
have. Have you watched it?
Me? Yes. Yes, I have. Your initial thoughts?
I loved it. I loved it not just because it was a really sweet Christmas movie. Like, it was actually funny. I laughed, and Natalie Wood gives the best side eye I have ever seen. Like, she was a killer actress as a child. Like,
Yeah.
killer. So
Yeah.
good.
She was yeah, and she went on to be a killer actress, and it's unfortunately that she drowned under sketchy circumstances.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I was surprised at how good her acting was, and the movie was thoroughly charming, and I enjoyed it immensely. What were your thoughts?
Well, there was two ways I could look at this. I cannot believe I have never seen this movie. I have not seen this movie until now, which is a shame because I
Mhm.
did like it. The other way I can look at it, like in a time where, let's be honest, social politics, special effects, they aren't ruining movies, but there's nothing overly special there. So I
Mhm.
have been able to watch a new movie, a new to me movie that is actually fantastic. It was 100% fantastic.
It was so
So
good. Such a well-made movie. The pacing was on point.
yeah, it wasn't overly long. It wasn't.
No, it told the story. It told it well.
Yep.
The actors were good. Like, it's a quality movie. Super quality. And you don't need much. There are no gimmicks to it. It's not flashy.
No, not at
It's
all.
just a good, solid, well written, well directed, wonderfully shot movie. Well
Yeah.
acted.
I kind of get why all those suits in that trailer were getting so excited.
Yeah. They had a point.
All right. So, okay, so let's go over this fucking Christmas miracle of a movie. Miracle on 34th Street. First, I'd like to correct a statement. I have watched a ton of 40s movies. I meant 30s after when I heard it again, because all the characters in this movie I recognize. And that's what, like, the 40s, the film noir really hit its stride. Family comedies were becoming a thing. Movies themselves were finding identity. So if you love movies, you should start in the 40s. 30s and 20s, I mean, yeah, you got the Wizard of Oz, and you got some gems in there, but
I think the 20s and 30s are for people who like to watch the evolution of film.
yeah, yes,
If you like to track that and you like to see what they did more, like I'm trying to remember, when did Citizen Kane come out? I think it was the 40s.
yes, I think so too.
But
41,
1941.
yeah,
So I remember watching that, or my niece watched it, and then we were discussing it, and she was like, I don't understand why everybody was losing their shit. And I was like, because in 1941, everything they did in Citizen Kane was revolutionary. They had never done it before. And
yeah,
like, this was like a huge leap forward for film and their ability, their special like shooting techniques and things like that. And so if you like seeing the evolution of that, the 20 movies from the 20s and 30s are definitely something you should check out. I'm also like, in the 30s, they tended to have very opulent, not necessarily story driven, but very opulent, like well shot movies. So if you
hmm,
really are into cinematography, movies from the 30s are your jam. But if you really want to see when like Hollywood was really getting their grip on things, that was
yeah,
probably the
that was the
40s.
40s, yeah, yep, absolutely. All right, so let's go to Miracle on 34th Street. Let's start. Chris Kringle is an indignant. Oh, for fuck, off to a beautiful start. He's an old man. And it finds that the man assigned to play Santa in the annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade is intoxicated. First off, it was cold. I can't. And the guy was probably likely a World War II vet, which is probably just as well that they did kick him out. They could have snapped or been triggered.
No, he was an older guy. Maybe World War One vet, but
Oh,
not World War Two.
yeah, it was pretty old. Yeah.
Yeah. But regardless,
Yeah, it was pretty
he was
good. Like,
toasty.
yeah, he could have snapped at any time, that old man.
Yes.
Although he seemed kind of joyful.
Well, he was really enjoying singing the Jingle Bells
Yeah.
and reaffirming that it was cold. And you
Yes,
got to give a man something to keep him warm,
that's true.
which apparently is half a bottle of scotch.
Yeah. Yeah. That and some trauma, World War One trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have been called the Massacre on 34th Street. I'd have watched that too.
There you go.
So when he complains to event director, hot, sexy Doris Walker, that's Maureen O'Hara, one hot piece of ass. That's my takeaway as I'm watching this movie.
Come on.
I had a crush on her on Parent Trap, and that was like 15 years later. Oh, and
Don't get me wrong. It's
I forgot.
ridiculously attractive.
Yes,
But
she was in Only the Lonely with John Candy,
mhm.
and she was freaking fantastic. Well, I remember her being fantastic. If this show has taught me anything, movies that you remember being awesome aren't always awesome.
It makes you doubt your memory sometimes.
Yeah. She persuades Chris to take his place. He does so well that he is hired to play Santa at Macy's New York City store on 34th Street. At the end of the parade, he looked like Mussolini giving a speech pre-World War II. That was a lot of people just cheering.
But I mean,
I don't know if it was like that back then where everyone,
I have a feeling it was.
which is great.
Well, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
1946. It's not like everybody's going to be like playing video games at home or like
rushing home
watching
to watch
movies.
Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. They like going to the parade was like, people still go to the parade. God bless.
Yes.
I would not be one of those people. I
Too
think I'd like
cold?
to do it once in my life.
But you've never done it before?
Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade? No.
Oh, Macy's eggs. I meant like any parade.
I used to do the Portugal Day Parade.
What the hell is that?
June 10th is Portugal Day.
So there's like what, one or two
There's,
floats?
you know what? We have a very large, flourishing Portuguese community here. Thank you very much.
One guy cooking fish on one float, and
they do usually have a float that's cooking fish. FYI.
Yeah. Seriously? Awesome.
Seriously, they have a barbecue on it.
Nice.
And then sometimes they hand out bread. It's like a whole thing. But there are multiple floats, and there's also like folk dancing groups and things like that. And there's usually a band or two, and the different Portuguese clubs put together something to walk in. Anyways, I used to go to that one a few times, but then I was like, it's too many Portuguese people in one spot. And then the only time I've been to the Santa Claus parade was when I used to work at a Second Cup on the route.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So every once in a while, like if I had a break while the parade was going on, I would make myself a hot chocolate and like stand out there for 15 minutes and then be like, that's enough. I'm not a big parade person, but I feel like Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, you should see that at least once in your life.
Yeah. Are they the same ones is that the same as the Thanksgiving parade?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is the parade, right? With Santa at the end.
That is the parade.
That's the kickoff. That's our kickoff to Christmas. And
yeah.
Okay.
That's the go home and eat turkey because now it's Christmas time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal. Like they have the giant floats, they have the big balloon floats, and yeah, I'd like to see that at least once. That'd be kind of cool. All right, ignoring instructions from the toy department head, Mr. Shellhammer, to recommend overstocked items to undecided shoppers, Chris directs one woman to another store to fulfill her son's Christmas request. That was a funny scene. The mother's all pissed.
She's like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
When the kid's asking for the fire engine, and she's kind of like, no, I can't find one.
And he's like, of course you can have one. And then she's like, I just told you Macy's doesn't have it. Oh, but hold on. Gimbel's has it, or what? Well, it was a different store. It wasn't.
Yeah,
Gimbel's.
It was a different store, but
it's like, Schoenfeld's, I think. He's like, just go down there and get it. They've got them. And she's like, I don't what? I'm so confused. And then she just like seemed dazed walking away. She's like, I don't know what. You want me to go shopping somewhere else?
Impressed by Chris's honesty and helpfulness, she informs Shellhammer that she will now become a loyal Macy's customer. Yeah, that was a great scene. I liked Mr. Shellhammer, and I liked him more as the movie went on.
He's a typical manager.
Yeah.
They'll say one thing, but the minute, like, if someone goes against it and it all works out in the end, they're like, that's genius.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah.
What I found humorous about the scene was Chris noting that America was looking to make more money and make things cheaper and just ignoring Christmas spirit and craftsmanship. And I thought to myself, holy shit, if you could see it now, Mr. Kringle.
Mr. Kringle would be so sad.
Oh my God.
So sad.
I personally feel since the end of the 80s, maybe mid 90s, everything started to get really, really cheap. Yeah. I realize earlier than that, like my parents and grandparents, like I remember their furniture and appliances, you always saw the same stuff year after year after year. It was never replaced because it was sturdy and well made as shit.
Yeah.
And nothing ever broke down.
Right now in my kitchen, I have a table and chairs, solid wood, that I think my parents bought when they literally bought this house, which was in 1971.
Yeah.
It's old. That set is older than me.
Yeah. And it's probably just as sturdy as it was back then.
Sturdy as it was. My entire life, it has been the sturdiest table and chairs.
Yeah.
We repainted them to match the new cabinets because we were like, the table's still good. It's still work. Like, chairs are solid. No cracks, no wobbles, no nothing. So I think definitely at this time in the 1940s, it was more likely that you pay a little bit extra, but you get stuff that lasts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you pay a little bit extra. It might last you an extra year.
Yeah. I paid $2,500 for my dining room. Every other week I'm coming in going, what the fuck did you guys do to my table? Kids.
I just get IKEA stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but me and my wife, I said, I'm done. I'm done buying cheap shit. I'm done. I'm done replacing it in a year or two. So I do try to, if I can, pay a little bit more money. Like, don't get me wrong, I've dabbled in a dollar store here or there, pop my head into a Walmart
See,
incognito.
I don't mind going to the dollar store or, getting Walmart stuff for
Certain things, yeah.
certain things. But if I'm buying a big piece of furniture, then I'm going to pay for quality.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cheap out on that.
Done with cheaping out on stuff.
Yeah.
Attorney Fred Gailey, Doris's neighbor, takes the young divorcee's daughter Susan to see Santa. Okay, so a little more trusting in the 40s when single men could just take 8-year-old girls without asking their mother.
But the housekeeper knew. And
Oh.
apparently Mr. Gailey has shown incredible interest in Susie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's not creepy and weird.
That's not a red flag.
But the best part is, like, was it before? Yeah. Because, okay.
Yeah, I made a note. Like, they went to the zoo.
They went to the zoo together.
Yeah.
They did something else together.
Yeah, and they watched the parade.
And then they watched the parade from his apartment.
From his apartment.
But don't worry.
Susie's over at, what's his name?
The housekeeper was looking straight through. And apparently or maybe they have a courtyard between the two, like, wings, they could see directly into his apartment. So less creepy-ish. Mind you, she was in the kitchen with the door closed. So I was like, girl, how are you seeing anything?
And it didn't seem creepy as I was watching it. If you made that movie now, it'd be totally
everybody be like, why aren't you?
What do you mean my kid's over at that man's house?
Mind you, if it was being made now, that 6-year-old would probably be in like gymnastics after school rather than watching the Thanksgiving Day parade. But they're watching the parade, and then the mom, Doris, comes over to pick up her kid because she's like, oh, she really shouldn't be bothering him. And then he basically admits to her while making her a cup of coffee that the only reason he hangs out with the kid is to get with the mom.
Yeah, so he can bang.
I was like, you're not even like.
Fred got game. And you don't hear that a lot now. Someone named Fred having fucking game.
I'm sorry to all the Freds out there. Feel free to prove to Jimmy that you've got game.
Yeah, they know it's true. Fred's got game. Oh, can we talk about the apartments?
Mm-hmm.
I went on a bit of a deep dive. Probably that's why I didn't get the thing ready. But here's some cool facts. In the 40s, the average apartment in New York was $27 a month.
Damn, what was the average salary?
$3,000 a year.
Yeah.
So you got $250 a month, and 27 of it went to your rent. Now, what percentage is that? That's probably like 8%. I can tell you right now, people in New York are paying a lot more than 8% of their
I don't know why,
rent.
but TikTok keeps sending me to like New York rentals, and they're like, this is a great apartment in Midtown. And then they show me the tiniest little apartment, and they're like, and it's only $3,000. And I'm like,
yeah,
excuse me, what?
Yeah.
Or this one's great. It's such a deal at $4,000. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I think it's bad that there's an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, like 2 doors down for me, that's renting right now for $2,800.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, who's paying that? I can't afford it.
Yeah, it's not 8%. That's probably like 60% of their monthly.
That's how all bougie people move into my neighborhood.
Now, where do you think they were living?
Well, apparently they were living, I think, on 5th Avenue.
So that's Manhattan, right?
They're living in Manhattan, yeah.
So their apartment in the 40s would be anywhere from $50 to $91 a month to live in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And if they were living in Manhattan, they were probably, the average was $3,000 a month, a year. They were probably making more than that.
Well, he was a lawyer.
So he was making more than 3.
And she was some sort of
head of Macy's, some department.
Okay. So the parade kicks off at West 77th Street. It's had the exact same route, I think, from the beginning. And Central Park West flows down Central Park West before winding around Columbus Circle and onto Central Park South and 6th Avenue. It goes down 6th Avenue to Macy's Herald Square.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then I found, well, the only thing I could get a real a thing on is that a New York City apartment average was about $60 in the 50s, but everyone's pay was up to about almost $5,000 a month average. but that $60 would, in today's money, would be about $530 a month. And I started looking at some of the stuff in the 40s. They were paying like 11 cents for a bag of apples. They were
Oh yeah.
paying 32 cents for 15 pounds of potatoes.
Yeah.
They were the so when at first I'm like $250 a month. What the fuck? But then you look at all their prices, like you still had some money to do shit.
Oh
Like,
yeah. And there were so many luncheons and diners
yeah,
and automats, I think they were called, where it's basically vending machine places where you get food
yeah.
and then you can sit down there. And all of that, you could eat an entire meal for like $1.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah, like it was super easy. You'd get like a burger for 25 cents.
Yeah,
So
and
you could still eat out on the regular and be
on the
okay.
regular, but you got to
Yeah.
remember they didn't have, and the cars were cheap, but they didn't have internet, they didn't have cell phone bills, they didn't have
No,
Netflix
but they
and
did have
cable,
phone
and
bills like
yeah,
landlines.
they did have phones. Yeah,
They might have had TV, but it would have had like 2 channels and an antenna.
yeah,
So it's like it was very much a different time, but cost of living was so much lower, so much lower.
yeah.
You could
I,
actually
I,
live in New York.
yeah, it just baffled my mind. It was cool. Anyways, where are we here? Doris has raised her to not believe in fairy tales, but Susan is shaken after seeing Chris speak Dutch with a girl who does not know any English. Doris asks Kringle to tell Susan that he is not Santa, but he insists that he is. And this is what I love about this movie, and I'll mention this again. It's leaving it to the viewer to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything that is happening could be just coincidence, but it could also be explained.
Yeah.
Like there's an explanation for everything that happens that could be based in reality, but it's letting the viewer decide whether or not is it reality or is he really Santa Claus, which I thought was really cool.
I love that they never tell you one way or the other.
No, and that's one of the coolest things about it.
Yeah.
Worried, Doris decides to fire him, but Chris has generated so much positive publicity and goodwill that R.H. Macy, the store's owner, promises bonus. So they get him back.
Uh-huh.
To alleviate Doris' misgivings, Shellhammer suggests Granville Sawyer administers a psychological evaluation. Sawyer recommends Chris's dismissal. This guy's a dick.
Such a dick.
Grade A douchebag. I hated
Yep.
this guy.
I hated him so much too. So much.
And if we go back, we also meet Alfred, the janitor kid who loves playing Santa at his local
Yep.
Y.
Yep. At his local Y.
And we also, the doctor where Chris resides, who explains that Chris truly does believe he is Santa, but he is not a danger. And he gave some examples of people that are harmless that believe they're someone they're really not.
Like the Russian prince in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost Googled him. I was like, I feel like that's a real person.
Probably is. Meanwhile, Susan shows Chris a magazine photo of her dream house and tells him she wants it for Christmas. Reluctantly, he promises to do his best. In the company cafeteria, here we go. Young employee Alfred tells Chris that Sawyer convinced him that he is unstable simply because he enjoys dressing as Santa Claus. Chris immediately confronts Sawyer, eventually striking him on the head with the umbrella.
He deserved it.
Yeah, he should have kept beating him to the white meat shows.
It's a little harsh.
Sawyer exaggerates his pain to have Chris confined to Bellevue Hospital. Tricked into cooperating and believing Doris to be in on the deception. That was really shitty, too, of him.
Yep.
Chris deliberately fails his examination and is recommended for permanent commitment. However, Fred persuades Chris not to give up and represents him in court. They're all great scenes. This is a great scene. And being a huge I Love Lucy fan, I was tickled pink to see William Frawley, aka Fred Mertz, as the politician guy.
Yeah, the campaign manager, I think.
Yeah.
Like all I know is he was on the screen and I was like, Fred? Is that you?
Fred. And Fred had game. Actually, Fred had no game. Him and Ethel Mertz. And we also get scenes of Gimbals stealing their idea and implementing it nationwide. Then Macy goes nationwide. Then they're together giving Chris a check and shaking hands and laughing. And God damn it, if I'm not feeling the Christmas spirit at this time.
I thought it was really great, especially when they go to like Gimbal and they're like, we're just going to let him show us up. Like,
Yeah.
we've got to why didn't you think of this first? We
he
can't let him
blamed
get away
everyone
with it.
else.
Yeah, he's like, we can't let them get away. It started in these stores, and it's like, oh, they're going to more stores. Well, we're taking it nationwide, and it was like just a great one-upmanship. And then
Yeah.
eventually they start laughing together, and you're just kind of like, that's real nice.
Yeah, because they ask him, like, what are you going to do with this bonus check they gave him? And he's like, I'm going to buy an x-ray machine for my doctor friend.
Yeah.
I'm
They're like, oh, I don't think that'll cover it. And then it's like, well, I can. And then Gimble's like, I'll cover the rest.
Yeah, and I can get it at cost.
Yeah. Well, first Macy was like, well, you can buy it from us and it's 10% off. I was like, I didn't know Macy sold x-ray machines, but okay, let's run with it. And then Gimble's like, I could get it at cost. And it was like, and then that was the point where they were like laughing. And I was like, this is creepy, but wonderful.
Yeah.
This is the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, and I was really digging it until the kids are getting loud and I'm screaming at them to shut up and stop fucking with my Christmas spirit. Before I go in there and give them something to scream about. Beat you with a candy cane. There's your Christmas spirit.
Oh, Lord.
At a hearing before Judge Henry X. Harper. Oh, no, sorry. Before Judge Henry X?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Henry X? Okay.
Wait. Let me. Where is it? Henry? I just looked it up. God damn it. Anyways, Judge Henry X. We'll just
Okay.
X Harper.
X Harper.
I guess X is his middle name. Xavier.
Oh, okay. District Attorney Thomas Mara gets Chris to assert that he is Santa Claus and rests his case, asking Harper to rule that Santa does not exist. In private, Harper's political advisor, Charlie Halloran, warns him that doing so would be disastrous for his upcoming re-election bid. And yeah, he's like, if you're going to be the judge that convicts Santa Claus, you ain't getting re-elected.
You're going to be the one that locks up Santa.
Yeah.
He's like, well, wait a second.
And but we got that. No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, like, when they decided to go to trial, because the district attorney is just like, sign off. It's a run of the mill, like, Bellevue
crazy guy
commitment. Yeah. Just go ahead. And then Fred comes in and he's like, no, I represent him. Like, we would like a trial. They set a trial date. Yep. And then Sawyer comes in and Sawyer's like, can we just like forget it? And the district attorney is like, no.
That's right.
It's too late.
It's too late. And Macy was already warning Sawyer.
Yeah. Macy's like, we can't with this. If that happens, you're going to be in big trouble. And he's like, okay. And then he goes and tries to talk to Fred Gailey and be like, you just let it be. You don't need any publicity. And Fred Gailey's like, publicity, that's genius.
It's a great idea.
And it just snowballs from there.
And then we also got the scene where the judge's grandkids run in hugging and kissing grandma. And then they just cold shoulder grandma.
Yo, that little girl straight up just like skewered her grandfather. Was like, I don't know why you're asking for a hug, but
yeah. You trying to put Santa Claus in jail. Yeah, and even the wife chimes in that she agrees with them. Yeah. This is 1947. They're like you didn't hit them.
Well, no, those are the grandkids.
Oh, yeah. Right. Grandkids, yes.
They're grandkids. So there was no hitting of the grandkids.
Big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was their children, beats 100%.
Yeah. Harper buys time by hearing further evidence. Fred calls Macy as a witness and gets him to admit that he believes in Santa. On leaving the stand, Macy fires Sawyer. This was so satisfying to me.
God, yes.
I just wish you would have bitch slapped him in the process.
A little bit, yeah.
Just when they were in the car and Sawyer telling Chris that sexy hot Doris was in on it too. That was just mean.
Are you just gonna keep calling her sexy hot Doris?
Yes. Next, Fred calls Mara's own young son, who testifies that his father told him that Santa is real. Mara concedes the point, but goes on to demand that Fred prove that Chris is the one and only Santa Claus on the basis of some competent authority by the following day. This is where I was starting to think that maybe something big was going to happen. This is where the magical moment, and I would have been okay with it, but this was much better.
No, this was a much, much better turn. But also, I will say this. I was sitting there and I was like, but wait, you guys are the ones that want to commit him because you're certain he's not Santa Claus and he says he is. Shouldn't the burden of proof be on them to be like, I can prove you're not Santa Claus and that's why you need to be committed. Because otherwise, I could just walk around calling myself, like She-Ra, Princess of Power. You can't prove I'm not.
No. And today you can.
Yes.
So
I
can
could do
I.
it.
I'm She-Ra, Princess of Power. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yes, and you are a very, very
She-Ra.
pretty princess.
The sword spins around.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a couple She-Ras. Because you used to
She-Ra
have
was the
He-Man and She-Ra playing together.
Yeah.
Where are we? Oh, by the following day. Meanwhile, Susan writes Chris a letter to cheer him up, which Doris also signs. When a New York post office mail sorter sees Susan's letter addressed to Chris at the New York courthouse, he suggests delivering all of the dead letters addressed to Santa Claus to Chris and freeing up storage space. I know this is a paint by numbers, like you kind of get what's coming, but I was still giddy with excitement.
Well, yeah, because you want to see it play out.
Yeah.
And now I'm curious, where do Americans send their letters to Santa?
Wasn't it in that whatchamacallit movie? Oh no, those were Dear God letters.
Yeah, because I know
think
Canadians, we send it to the North Pole.
We just dump garbage at the North Pole. That's very irresponsible.
So letters with postage and an address of the North Pole or Santa Claus are usually routed to one of 15 regional post offices. So Santa doesn't have a real address in the States. Like, not like he has here.
Where do you really think they go to the North Pole here?
I'm saying we have a specific address. Like, we don't just say North Pole.
Where
like, he has a postal code.
Yeah.
And like but they're just like, yeah, no, we send it to like these 15 different, because you can just say like Santa Claus and it goes to him. We're like, no, you have to write out the address in Canada.
Yeah.
We're like, there's a postal code. Come on. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so there are some places where if you just write a letter to Santa, they go to these specific post offices all across the U.S.
I wonder how long they keep them for.
I don't know. Apparently, there's a Santa ghostwriter.
Oh, can you imagine how many letters he has to write? Jesus Christ.
My hand would get so tired.
I think he might type.
I don't think, but no.
I guess that,
still send letters to Santa?
It's a little different now. Like when we go to Wonderland, you can go to Santa Claus's post office, and they have tables set up, and you get a letter, and it asks you your name and number, your name and stuff, and it asks you what you want, and then you fold it up, and then you take it to the elf, and then he or she puts it in, and this whole machine starts clinging and clanging, and steam, and it goes
fancy.
It flies up into the chute.
Yeah, we just wrote letters to Santa and then wrote out the address and then they mailed them.
Yeah, I remember doing that as a kid. Yeah, we never got any of that.
No, we didn't have anything fancy. Do they email Santa? Like, now I'm curious. What do kids do these days for like letters?
Yeah, there's actual sites you can go and you can book a time with Santa online, and he comes on the computer and he talks to the kid. You give them all the information about the kids and what they want and stuff like that. So he goes, your name, he knows their name, he knows their age, he knows all this stuff, unless you like screw with them and put the wrong stuff in, and he looks like a douche.
This is so you don't even have to go to, although Duffer Mall does have a very good Santa now. He looks very realistic. You're a Santa.
I will say this, the best Santa Clauses I have seen, bar none, are at Cabela's.
Oh, really?
Cabela's gun shops.
Really?
Oh my, they go all out. They have a laneway, decorations. They build a giant throne area for him. It's all wood with windows, and they love their Santa. Rednecks love their Santa. And actually they have toys in there that are all from like the 40s and 50s.
Oh, really?
Like the tin like cars and all wooden stuff, and they have some newer stuff, but it's more handmade stuff. I'm sure it's not handmade, but it's worth it. and they sell like heated peanuts and stuff, and heated cashews and
So there's like a whole ass Santa's village in the parking lot of Cabela's?
no, inside Cabela.
Inside Cabela's.
Inside Cabela.
Interesting.
It's worth going. Like, even if you're not into guns, it is very worth going.
I'm not really into guns.
No, but it's worth going. Just the
But
amount,
I'll
like
go
they
see
have
a Santa.
puzzles and very, very middle America
Yeah.
toys from like not nowadays, like from a few decades ago.
Like down home. It's very, yeah.
And it is, I'll be honest, beautiful.
Now I'm very curious. I may have to take the trip out to Barrie.
It is, there's, you might not have one there, up there, down there.
No.
No.
We don't really have gun shops.
Yeah. Liberals.
We're more NDP in the city.
You don't want gun shops?
No, because we're like, why are you living a life that means you need a gun? Do you hunt? There's no other reason.
No.
But
That's why I like to hunt.
You don't hunt.
No, I don't. I had to kill a bunny one time because my dog got at it, and that was traumatic enough for me.
Oh, see, we've done that, but that's
Put
just
it out of its misery.
No,
I'm sorry, buddy.
No, we buy the bunnies so that we can kill them, skin them, and then eat
fucking
them.
Portuguese.
We also
You buy
do
them
that with-
alive?
Yeah.
Oh. bleh.
And then we do that with chickens.
Ugh.
And we do that with, some people do it with goats. We haven't. Pigs, yes.
Where do you do it? You don't have a yard.
Usually in the garage. Or the bunnies was in our basement because we have a drain.
Oh.
Yeah, I walked into my parents' skinning
Barbarians.
just to make this super Christmassy. I walked into my parents' skinning a bunny, and then I couldn't eat rabbit for the longest time. For like 20 years, I couldn't eat rabbit, and I was so mad because rabbit is delicious, but I couldn't do it. I would just automatically get nauseous the minute the rabbit like hit the plate, and I was like, I can't. Oh God, yeah. I eventually got over it. I kept trying.
I don't know if I could. I probably could, once it's dead, I could probably skin it. It's just the killing of it.
Well,
I think I'd rather kill a human being.
Well, both my parents,
like a dickhead of a human being, rather than a bunny. Not just any regular human being.
Well, bunnies are a lot cuter than most.
That's what I mean.
So you want to cuddle with the bunny. You don't want to cuddle with every human being.
They didn't let you like play with the bunny first, and then okay, it's Christmas time. Give me the bunny.
When I was really young, because we would have like 40 rabbits in the garage, like just hanging out. So me and my cousins would go out and play with them because bunnies.
Oh yeah, I get that part.
But when I was younger, I didn't know I was eating rabbit. My mother would just tell me it was chicken, but I was like, but it looks different from chicken. And she's like, well, it's a different kind of chicken.
Yeah,
and I
this
was
meat
like,
looks
okay.
more adorable. I don't know why.
Thankfully, I never saw the face, although that's trauma for another day. But now we're gonna segue back into Christmas, but I'm gonna talk about how Santa worked in our house, because we opened all of our presents on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. It's wrong, but I know a lot of people do it.
Well, no, because I had some cousins where like Santa came on Christmas morning, and we were like, what? No, we open all of our presents on Christmas Eve. Like after we're done dinner, we eat dessert, we relax, and then we open up them because the presents have been under the tree from Santa for like 2 weeks. And I remember once, because someone insisted to me that Santa came on Christmas morning. I was like, not in my house. So I asked my mom about it, and my mom was really smooth, and she was like, we're on the early delivery list. And I looked at her and I went, what? And she goes, yeah. You think Santa has enough time to go all over the world in one night? No, there are some families that are on the early delivery list. He drops off the presents early, and then that one night he goes to the rest of the people. That was not all of the Portuguese.
Bunny killers.
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad grew up on a farm. My mom grew up farming, working fields.
Santa Claus mailed it to the Portuguese, afraid to get fucking trapped in their kill dungeon in the basement. It's a fucking Ellie Roth movie right there. Poor Santa gets trapped in a Portuguese home at Christmas time.
The only thing that would happen to Santa if he got trapped in a Portuguese home at Christmas is he'd be overfed and then
Yeah,
forced to take a nap and then woken up to eat a little more and then forced to take another nap and then woken up to eat even more and then watch some television.
that's
If there's
Christmas.
some hockey on, that's Christmas.
Yeah, my uncles liked watching wrestling. Well, hockey, but wrestling was a big thing too.
We were a hockey
Weirdos.
and wrestling house. Now just hockey.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
Where
back to the
the
movie.
hell are we?
The
Oh,
post
freeing
office.
up the storage space. Okay.
Mhm.
As court resumes, Fred is told by the mail delivery. He argues that the post office, a branch of the U.S. federal government, has acknowledged that Chris is the one and only Santa Claus by delivering the letters. When the judge insists on seeing them, Fred has them dump bag after bag after bag on Harper's desk. Harper dismisses the case. I almost cried.
I did tear up a little bit.
I almost cried. I didn't because I'm a man, but it almost made me want to identify as a chick so I could shed a few tears.
You
That was
realize men cry, right? Like it's okay. It's okay to feel the feels.
betas.
I'm sorry. Do you think you're an alpha?
I have a gun. I'm an alpha. That's Alpha 101 gun.
Sure.
So if
Sure,
anyone
that's all-
argues with you, you
that-
point your gun at them and they change their mind.
That's also Tiny Dick 101, but okay.
But no, this was a great scene because he has 3 letters and he puts them down and then he's like, well, I can't just go on 3 letters. And it's like, Fred's like, I'm glad you asked. And he waves them on and just sack after sack after sack.
Fred, incredible lawyer. I gotta say, he's got some courtroom moves. But he was trying to explain to the judge, and he's like, "No, I don't like. There's a," and he kept getting cut off by the judge, who was just like, "Bring them in, like just put them on my desk. Bring them." And Fred's like, "All right. I mean, if you insist."
Yeah. And before this, him and Sexy Hot Doris were a couple now. And then
They
he
were
told her,
romancing.
yeah, and he told her that my firm thought I was nuts, so I quit.
Yeah.
And then she's like, what? He's like, you gotta have faith. And she doesn't have faith. But she changes her mind. On Christmas morning at the party for Macy's, did they get together
No,
right
no,
after
no.
that?
Yeah, they get back together right after that.
Right after that.
Because there's
yeah.
like congratulations in the courtroom and it's great. And then the next morning, because Chris invites Fred,
Everybody,
I think,
yeah.
everybody to the home for a Christmas morning breakfast with everybody.
Yes.
So everybody comes in.
On Christmas morning at a party for Macy's employees, Susan loses faith in Chris when he admits he was unable to get her the house she wanted. However, after Chris offers Fred and Doris a route home that avoids traffic, Susan sees her dream house with a for sale sign out front, demanding that Fred stop the car. She runs into the house, exclaiming, Mr. Crinkle is Santa Claus. Fred learns that Doris had encouraged Susan to have faith and suggests they get married and purchase the house. He then boasts that he must be a great lawyer since he proved an eccentric old man was Santa. However, when he and Doris spot a cane in the house that looks just like Chris's, he is not sure. And that is our movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is your score?
Buy it. Buy this movie full price. Don't wait for sale. Because you know what? Even though it was made in 1947, still to this day, it holds up in quality. It holds up in sentimentality. Like it's just a really, really good Christmas movie. And it's one that really is almost timeless. Because you can make this exact same movie today. Exactly the same way. And it'll still work.
Mm-hmm.
Post office
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, you have to update it, but yeah, and I kind of want to see the remake. I know there was a big one in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll be maybe next year.
I'll probably end up watching the 90s one. I do want to see the 55 one because I've never seen that one before.
No. Yeah, I just have a feeling they won't I have a feeling that I'm guessing they'll be good. They'll be fine. It's just it would be hard to live up to this one.
Yeah, I remember the 95 one was a little bit different because I think it was, instead of the friendly neighbor man, it was the mom and dad are divorced.
Oh, okay.
In the 90s one. And the little girl's dream is to get the parents back and she has a brother.
Right.
So it's a little bit different.
Which is kind of good. You don't want the exact same.
But now I'm really curious to watch the 55 one because I didn't even know it existed.
There's a TV one in the 70s, I think, as well.
Really?
One made for TV. Yeah.
I'm so like fascinated because I'm like, I knew that the 47 one was good. Watched it again for this and I was like, yeah, no, straight up, it's still really, really good, which is fantastic. But at the same time, I'm like, I wonder what the 55, because that's like, what, 8 years? Like 8 years later, they decided to make another one. And I was like, oh, that's odd. And then the 94 one I have seen. So I remember liking that one. I don't think I liked it as much as this one, though. I remember thinking it was good, not great. This one is great. This one's so great. Everybody should buy it.
Buy it. All right, my score. My Lord, what a wonderful, upbeat, positive movie. Miracle on 34th Street brings a substantial amount, an enormous amount of magic to a movie that has no magic in it whatsoever. And by that, I mean no effects, no big reveal, no reindeer and sleigh carrying him off at the end while everyone gasps and cheers. No, it presents a possibility where even in the worst case scenario, Chris is just a crazy old man who loves Christmas and uses every means at his disposal to help and bring happiness to everyone he cares about. The movie, with the help of the book, uses clever coincidence and not impossible what-ifs. And at the end of the movie, whether you believe Chris is Santa or not, you have a smile on your face. Not only does this 1947 movie hold up, it brought a smile to my face, as I'm sure it did to you. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it. If you have not seen it for a while, rest assured the magic is still well intact and waiting for you whenever you're ready to watch one little miracle of a movie. Buy the 4K, the Blu-ray, and the digital, just in case Disney starts removing things from its library. This is a masterpiece of storytelling and cinema excellence. It's right up there with Black Christmas 1974. Should watch them together.
Double bill.
Get really creeped. I would watch Black Christmas first, get really creeped out, and then have Miracle on 34th Street lift you up. You don't want to go the other way.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
But then you just have to keep going down the well and then like watch, what is it? Better Watch Out, I think, is a Prime movie for, it's a Christmas horror.
Yeah, I didn't get to see that last year. That's on my list.
So good. It was so good. I'm
gonna watch Krampus.
So you watch that. Or Krampus. Krampus is a good one. I still haven't seen Silent Night. Is that the one? No, Violent Night.
Oh,
the newest one. I haven't seen it yet.
The one with the guy from Perfect Strangers.
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things. Yeah.
I was like, Balky Bartakos?
Yeah, Balky goes all medieval on people.
Balky gets violent. Like, you could just start at Miracle on 34th Street and just slowly devolve.
Yeah, this movie was, No, this movie was friggin' amazing.
It was so good.
I'm kind of pissed that I haven't seen it, but it was kind of really great to see something this amazing in 2023.
I didn't get distracted once.
No.
I was fully engaged watching it.
Yeah.
I laughed a lot and I was like, oh my God, these kids are such great actors. Like all of these, I'm like, you guys are killing it. Also, can we just talk about little Johnny, the district attorney's son? What was his name? Thomas.
The one that took the stand.
Little Tommy. When he gets off the stand and he goes and he's waving goodbye to his father, he has the most maniacal smile on his face.
Yeah.
That was you realize you're helping to tank your father's career and you enjoy it. I kind of like you, kid. But yeah, no, super good. It keeps you warm. It makes you feel warm and fuzzy. But at the same time, it is just a really well-made movie.
Yeah.
Seriously well-made.
And it's not sappy like Last Holiday. It's not.
No, but it is sweet.
It is.
It is
It
a
is.
very
Yeah.
sweet movie. It partially because 1947,
Yeah.
but just it's not overly saccharine, and it's nice that the woman is the one who's very sensible, and she's very business all the time, and I really like that. And the guy's kind of the main male lead is very flighty and kind of a little more fun and boisterous, but still a responsible adult.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this movie was fantastic.
So good.
Yeah. So we have 2 bites. All right. So thank you for joining us. And until we remember the next movie, till the next movie we remember liking, which next week is Gremlins.
Yay!
That I cannot wait for.
It has been so long.
Yeah, same here. Be awesome. All right. Till next time, people.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.